Lot of big Hollywood movie news in the last few days, including this morning with some tracking information and projections for the opening weekend of a big movie coming up real soon. And it's surprising to see what it is. I mean, in the past week, we've seen stories come out on the MCU that had to have been very disappointing to Disney, including the lack of the Eternals and Shang-Chi being included on the Chinese roster for upcoming MCU films, signaling that they probably won't even be allowed in the country. And I remember my first time seeing that Shang-Chi trailer and thinking to myself, who the fuck is Shang-Chi? Renegade Online. So yeah, let's take this bit by bit because I definitely want to get to the news on Fast and the Furious 9. Now, I don't know if you guys are fans of this franchise or not. I remember seeing the first couple of them. I have not kept up. I absolutely have not kept up. I'm kind of thinking I should go back at some point. I've got some friends that really love it. I get it. They're just mindless entertainment action movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just really haven't kept up with the franchise, but I have to have an absolute amount of tremendous respect for what they've built. They're, I think, the fifth or sixth largest film franchise in history at this point, which is no small feat. And a lot of it has to do with the foreign box office, particularly in China. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But first, some of the news that came out last week, which was, I have to say, not terribly unsurprising when we saw a couple of things. So here we had an article from Variety last week talking about the Shang-Chi Eternals may face an uphill battle to enter China. Kind of not a surprise if you really stop and think about it. And in a video that I did just about 6 days ago, where I said Marvel is dead, and I laid out a bunch of reasons why. Well, Shang-Chi and the Eternals came up in it from a domestic market standpoint because of the way they're taking these movies. Shang-Chi is not a very well-known character at all, number one. Number two, the Eternals, Kevin Feige basically came out and reiterated that they were going full woke with this stuff. They were going to have race-swapping, gender-swapping characters. We were going to have LGBTQ, whatever they keep changing the letters on me like every other day, folks. I can't keep up. But they're going to have all that, and they're going to push all this stuff in, change the characters, and have diversity and representation and all this kind of stuff. Good luck. Good luck. Part of the problem, I think, these days is that these companies they have found a very easy way to hide behind the paywalls of subscription streaming services. So you can't ever really tell, you don't know for sure exactly how many people are watching it because they don't have to release that information. And they can say, well, the box office was soft because of lockdowns, or the box office was soft because, they're watching it on streaming. Sure, whatever. We know better. Because this movie, Fast and the Furious 9, is coming out this weekend and is probably going to blow all of that straight to hell and back again. So Shang-Chi, uphill battle. It was not listed on the slate of upcoming MCU movies that was going to be released in China for their public consumption. And that list comes from a state-run, by that I mean the CCP, state-run media outlet. So if they're saying that, it's pretty much a take-it-to-the-bank kind of thing. The Eternals was also left off the list. Now, Shang-Chi was off because, frankly, the reception to it on the Chinese version of YouTube, which we discussed on this channel before, was very, very poor. In fact, it kind of got slammed and ratioed to hell over there, not only on the mainland in China, but also in Hong Kong. Chinese folks, that culture does not take well to films that are produced by Western movie studios, namely the US or anything like that tries to dive into doing movies about their culture. And I can kind of understand and respect that. Even when you have big heavy hitters in a movie like in Shang-Chi, like Tony Leung, who I absolutely love, and they said he was playing the Mandarin, but there's the whole Fu Manchu thing behind that I don't want to get into that here. But there's kind of there's a long history of hate towards that character in China, and I don't think that movie's playing well. The Eternals, apart from the woke stuff, apparently its director Chloe Zhao, who is of Chinese descent by my understanding, has also become somewhat of a hot potato over there, and the CCP does not care much for her anymore. So therefore, the movie that she made is pretty much out. I'd be very surprised at this point to see either of these movies make it into the Chinese market, which would be an absolute... It's a dick punch for Disney. It's a total dick punch for Disney, and I can't help but laugh about it. They keep digging themselves in these holes, and this is what they get, just like they did with Star Wars. But let's go over to Fast and the Furious 9, because this is what's important. This is what blows all this stuff out of the water. When these studios, after this movie comes out, I will tell you right now, this is my prediction. This is the Renegades' prediction. The movie studios will no longer be able to hide behind pandemic, lockdown, it's on a streaming service, whatever other bullshit they want to come up with. They are not going to be able to hide behind this anymore. This is really going to mess it up. Godzilla vs. Kong did to an extent, and so did Mortal Kombat. Demon Slayer was an amazing performer, which if you took Demon Slayer's domestic performance in Japan, which is where it was from, and you translated it into a U.S. population size, because Japan is only 38% the population of the U.S., you're talking about a near $1 billion domestic haul for Demon Slayer in relative terms in Japan. Again, if Japan had the same population as the U.S. In other words, it would be bigger than the biggest U.S. domestic box office of all time, which was The Force Awakens at around $950 billion. Amazing performance. So the appetite to go back to the big screen is indeed out there. So F9 is coming out. They are expecting a $160 to $180 million opening weekend, and that doesn't include the U.S. That is strictly foreign. That is strictly mainly Asia, particularly China. So here we go. Disney can't figure out how to get into the Chinese market and make money. They failed with Mulan, which was a total flop over there. They failed with Raya and the Last Dragon, complete flop over there. Shang-Chi, which is their third swing of the bat, and it looks like it's going to be the third strike for Disney on the Chinese market in the past 12 months, and it won't even get in there. Kind of have you got to laugh a little bit at this, guys. You got to laugh a little bit at this. But let's take a look at this, because this is fascinating. And this $180 million projection for F9, Fast and the Furious 9, may actually be a little bit low. It may actually do better. It may actually break the 200 mark. Let's take a look at the marketing they've been doing with this. And look, the Fast and the Furious movies, what's great about these movies is that they're just unapologetically themselves. Again, I've never been a huge fan of the Fast and the Furious series. I've watched the first one, maybe two. I have not kept up. They're just action movies. They're just Vin Diesel blowing things up, The Rock blowing things up, driving cars quickly, crashing into things. It's just, it's a popcorn movie, guys. And look, this is the stuff that the Chinese market loves. Big, bad, bold, badass American action movies. That's what China wants. The Fast and the Furious franchise has that figured out. Universal Studios is going to make a bunch of money with this thing. Let's look at what they've done, though, because this is fascinating. I'm going to read from the article in Deadline. In terms of F9 marketing and promotion, Universal reached further into China and its Tier 2, 3, and 4 cities, and also included custom content and activations in Wenzhou, Wuhan, and Chongqing. The campaign for F9 within Asia kicked into high gear with the launch of the trailer on April 14th this year, which earned more than, get this, 800 million global views. After its first drop, first choice among traditional tracking measures for F9 tripled. Tracking is what they use. Tracking is the expectation for pre-sales and opening weekend sales leading up to opening weekends for movies. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely... Talent also promoted the film across the Asian region, including Vin Diesel custom greeting to Chinese customers at a press conference for F9 in China. Vin Diesel shared exclusively that Fast 10 would film in the market, meaning they're going to film Fast and Furious 10 in China with Chinese production houses. China's going to push the shit out of that movie. Watch. John Cena, known throughout Chinese social media as one of the most fluent Chinese-speaking Hollywood actors, created social posts with singing to promote F9. And Cena, if you don't know anything about him, you can forget wrestling and all that. John Cena is just a funny guy. He really is. If you haven't seen him in movies, he really does have pretty good comedic timing. He's just a funny actor to watch. Further promos saw F9 take over the two biggest and most visible LED screens in China to showcase an iconic car stunt from the Fast saga. And in Korea, Gangnam Street showcased a full-scale, out-of-home takeover with 6 building panels synchronized to create a 360-degree Fast and the Furious, or F9, experience. They're going all out. They're going all out, and they know where their market is because this is what China wants. China doesn't want woke BS. China doesn't want, stupid garbage politics, SJW, American ninny. They don't want this stuff. What they want are these big badass action movies that they love. And that's what they want more of. These other studios, if they want to get into this market, they need to figure it out because they're just leaving so much money on the table. It's sad. So anyway, I just wanted to go through that. I find this fascinating. And like I said, I'm going to tell you right now, like I said before, I'll say it again. After Fast and the Furious drops, especially in these foreign markets, the excuses for these movie studios like Disney and Warner Brothers for, just basically their continued failure theater, baby, it's over. Y'all need to come up with some new bullshit because the old stuff's getting stale. Take care.